Matthew Henry Full Commentary on Daniel chapter 6, verse 25 through 28. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, Peace be multiplied unto you. Darius here studies to make some amends for the dishonor he had done both to God and Daniel, in casting Daniel into the lion's den, and by doing honor to both. Number 1. He gives honor to God by a decree published to all nations, by which they are required to fear before him. And this is a decree which is intended to fit to be made unalterable, according to the laws of the Medes and the Persians. For it is the everlasting gospel, preached to those that dwell on the earth. Revelation 14:7. Fear God and give glory to him. Observe, number 1, to whom he sends his decree, to all people, nations, and languages that dwell on all the earth. Verse 25. These are great words, and it is true that all the inhabitants of the earth are obliged to that which is here decreed. But here they mean no more than every dominion of his kingdom, which, though it contained many nations, did not contain all nations. But so it is, those that have much are ready to think they have all. Number 2. What the matter of this decree is, that men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. This goes further than Nebuchadnezzar's decree upon a similar occasion, for that only restrained people from speaking amiss of this God, and this requires them to fear before him, to keep up and express awful reverence thoughts of him. And might well this decree he prefaced as it is, with peace be multiplied unto you, for the only foundation of true and abundant peace is laid in the fear of God, for that is true wisdom. If we live in the fear of God and walk according to that rule, peace shall be upon us, peace shall be multiplied to us. But, though this decree goes far, it does not go far enough. Had he done right, and come up to his present conviction, he would have commanded all men not only to tremble and fear before this God, but to love him and trust in him, to forsake the service of their idols, and to worship him only, and call upon him as Daniel did. But idolatry had been so long and so deeply rooted that it was not to be expurgated by the edicts of princes, nor by any power less than that which went along with the glorious gospel of Christ. Number 3. What are the causes and considerations moving him to make this decree? They are sufficient to have justified a decree for the total suppression of idolatry. Much more will they serve to support this. There is good reason why all men should fear before this God. For, 1, his being is transcendent. He is the living God, lives as a God, whereas the gods we worship are dead things, have not so much as an animal life. Number 2, his government is incontestable. He has a kingdom and a dominion. He not only lives, but is reigned as an absolute sovereign. Number 3, both his being and his government are unchangeable. He is himself steadfast forever, and with him is no shadow of turning. And his kingdom, too, is that which shall not be destroyed by any external force, nor has his dominion anything in itself that threatens a decay or tends towards it, and therefore it shall be even to the end. Number 4, he has an ability sufficient to support such an authority. Verse 27. He delivers his faithful servants from trouble and rescues them out of trouble. He works signs and wonders quite above the utmost power of nature to effect, both in heaven and on earth, by which it appears that he is sovereign, Lord of both. Number 5, he has given a fresh proof of all that is delivering his servant Daniel from the power of the lions. This miracle and that of delivering of the 3 children were wrought in the eyes of the world, were seen, published, and attested by 2 of the greatest monarchs that ever were, and were illustrated confirmations of the first principles of religion, abstracted from the narrow scheme of Judaism, effectual confrontations of all the errors of heathenism, and very proper preparations of pure Catholic Christianity. Section 2. He puts honor upon Daniel, verse 28. So this Daniel prospered. See how God brought to him good out of evil. This bold stroke which his enemies made at his life was a happy occasion of taking them off, and their children too, who otherwise would still have stood in the way of his preferment, and have been upon all occasions vexatious to him. And now he prospered more than ever, was more in favor with his prince and in reputation with the people, which gave him a great opportunity of doing good to his brother. Thus out of the eater, and that was a lion too, comes forth meat, and out of the strong sweetness. End of Matthew Henry's full commentary on this passage of Scripture. This is being read by Dr. Peter John Paresis.